Welcome to the Tower Yoga Podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of yoga and community. Come along with us as we explore the transformative power of yoga, share insights, and inspire one another on this journey of life. I'm Kellee Williams, and I'm your host and the co-founder of Tower Yoga. Thank you for joining our yoga community. Hello, dear listeners. I am so glad that you are here. Today's episode is all on the winter solstice, and we'll be getting into some of the magic, the meaning, even maybe a little bit of winter energetics that we have the opportunity to embrace this time of year. If you're listening to this, way late, or maybe you live somewhere completely different in the world. We did do a summer solstice episode about half a year ago, so I'll make sure that that is linked in the show notes. So the winter solstice marks the longest and darkest day of the year. It's a profound time for reflection and the beginning of the process of renewal. From a yogic perspective, this moment connects us deeply to the cyclical rhythms of nature. It offers us that opportunity to turn inward. So in this episode, we'll reflect on what the season symbolizes, explore some simple ways to honor the solstice, and I'll invite you to a special women's circle that I'll be hosting in the Lotus Room Friday, December 20th, and that's happening at 6:30 p.m. In yoga, we often speak of balance, balance between dark and light, effort and ease, what's happening outside of us, externally, what's happening inside of us, our own internal landscapes. The winter solstice is a powerful reminder of this balance, or you could even look at it as a dance. And the dance changes differently, so maybe we're picking up the pace in summertime, right? And then maybe we're slowing things down, the slower dance in winter. The solstice invites us to honor the darkness as a sacred space for rest, stillness, and introspection. So just as seeds lie dormant in the earth during winter, our intentions, our dreams, they rest quietly within us. And we sort of listen to the stirrings within once spring starts to come. But right now, we're sitting with these desires and these intentions, and we're waiting for the right time for them to emerge. It is the time to plant these seeds of intentions, but realize that it is the beginning process, that we do need to lie dormant for a little bit and just be with. In yogic philosophy, this connects to the concept of pratyahara, or withdrawal of the senses. So this encourages us to turn inward and reconnect with our true selves, hopefully our authenticity. And the solstice aligns with the energy of grounding, of releasing, letting go, and making space for the light and growth to come. It's also a beautiful time to reflect on the energy of the root chakra, Muladhara. This chakra represents stability, connection to the earth. So during the solstice, grounding practices, both on and off of the mat, help us align with the season's energy of stillness, of stability. Now let's talk about ways that you can honor the solstice, both as a yogi and in daily life. You can create a solstice ritual. You can light a candle to symbolize the return of light. And as you light that flame, you can take a moment to reflect, to meditate on what you're releasing from the past year and what you're calling into your life as the days grow longer. I also like to use this time when creating a ritual, especially at the end of the year, start of the new year, during winter solstice time, to say a protection prayer for the coming year. And if that doesn't align with you, protection prayer, then, you can also find like a protection smoke bundle. Anima Mundi sells those. There's other places that you can find those kinds of things. I mean, you can find sage or Palo Santo or any other herbs that speak to you, maybe connect with you and your cultural background or the practices that you study. But this protection, I think, is really nice just to imbue and act as like a little bit of an invocation for the beginning of something. It seems like winter is the end, and it's the end of the year, and then January 1st is the beginning of the calendar year. But I think there's a lot of releasing that happens in fall. You can see it around. And in winter, things are bare. They're a little bit more bare, and it really is new. It's that I think I'll do an episode on this later on the like metaphor of metamorphosis. And there's 4 stages in metamorphosis. And the first stage is that like egg stage. And we can think about this winter, the winter energetics, we would be that stage 1, and those seeds of intentions are there, but all there is to do is to be with and to sit with and to allow the stillness and the darkness and the solitude and the quietude to do its thing, you know. Stage 1. Another thing that you could do to honor the winter solstice is a practice of a grounding yoga style, So we have the restorative yoga where everything's grounded and you use a lot of props as support underneath you. It's slow, it's soft. That's an option. We have that offered at the Lotus Room. And if you're not in the area, of course, you can look up online a restorative yoga practice, or if there's a studio in your area, you can look that up. We offer that. And also, even in the hot room, if you're like, ooh, I really just like need the heat, there's the gentle yoga, which we still flow and do all those kinds of things, but postures tend to be held a little longer, or they're at least offered like softly. Some postures, like straight up, if you're just like at home and you're like, I just actually want to like do a few postures, focus on grounding postures, like child's pose. But if you want to do something standing, mountain pose, it's very grounding. Tree pose, even though it's a balance and we're kind of getting into that idea of the dance thing again, is grounding, especially if you visualize your standing leg like rooting into the earth beneath you. And you don't have to grow your branches all around. You could keep your hands at your heart center. Forward folds, anything, whether you're grounded or you're standing up, forward folds are good postures to help connect with the earth and also to invite introspection. It has that like you're literally kind of bowing in and going internal in those kinds of postures. Another good way to honor the winter solstice is to spend time in nature. I know it's cold in the winter, but even though it's cold, you could bundle up, put warm, cozy, like base layers, even if you have to, socks, gloves, beanie, all those kinds of things. But bundle yourself up and step outside. Maybe you want to step outside and sit on your front porch or something like that, just to feel the stillness of the earth and notice the quiet beauty of this season. There is beauty and it's intense, it's stark. There's beauty to behold if you take the time to look for it. A short walk in the fresh air can be profoundly grounding. You don't have to It doesn't have to be a brisk walk, although you can do that if you want to get warm. The cold is a good motivator to go faster. Some of you know that I'm a runner, and I do like the cold for that. It makes me want to run because I don't want to be cold anymore. So yeah, so you can You can go on a slow walk, you can go on a brisker walk and just notice, the earth around you. Behold it. Feel what that says or does, or how that transfers into what you feel inside, translates. Another way is to, of course, connect with community. Kind of always coming back to that. But really, gathering with others to celebrate the solstice is so fun. A shared ritual can amplify your intention or intentions, and then it also helps to create a sense of kind of collective intention, collective renewal, participation in these beginning stages of the process of renewal. There is, again, as I already said, a way to celebrate in community with me on Friday, December 20th. That is the Winter Solstice Women's Circle Gathering. So if that's you and you're interested, then please do come. Once again, it's at the Lotus Room in Tower Yoga. And another way is if you are interested and you're listening to this in real time, there's two other things actually. So Friday, December 13th, there is a yoga and medicinal tea making for the holidays. That's happening with myself and community member Nat. They were interviewed on the podcast last week, and that could be a really cool way. Anyone's invited. If that calls to you, there's still space. And then the next day, there is a wait list. Saturday, December 14th, it's the Self-Defense with Storm, and I'll be attending that. I'm so excited about that. I think that that's another really cool way to honor the winter solstice and the beginning of the year. We're getting back to this idea of bringing in the idea of protection, and it's like, okay, like protection prayer, like call in, like whatever you resonate with, right? Your guides, angels, God, whatever, nature, make those protection prayers. That's one way. And then there's these different herbs that we can use from various traditions across the globe, to like the smoke bundle, to smudge around your home, your space, your body, all these kinds of things, protection ritual in that kind of way. But straight up, like, take a self-defense class. It is to start your year in that way, to be like, I'm starting my year knowing that I have some tools to protect myself, like physically in the world if I have to. It's just another way. It's really cool. So that's happening. If you're signed up, cool. If you're not, get on the wait list. You never know what's going to happen. We do plan to offer those semi-regularly, so let us know if you are interested in that through Instagram or emailing us, and we'll put another one on there for you. Those are a couple other things. And I guess just to get a little bit more into what you could expect if you come to the Women's Circle for the solstice on the 20th, this gathering will include a grounding yoga practice, probably a little bit of like a guided meditation, creation of a collective intention for the season ahead. I'll make some tea, and there'll be some moments for quiet reflection, journaling. It'll be a beautiful way to pause and honor this sacred time of year. You don't need any experience with yoga or meditation to join me. Just open heart, a desire to connect with yourself and others. Space is limited, but there's plenty of it still at the time of this recording. So please reserve your spot as soon as you know you want to go. That also helps me just know how to prepare for a gathering like that. Okay, well, as we embrace this winter season, the winter solstice, let's remember that the darkness, and especially this darkest night of the year, carries the promise of returning light. So how can we remember that in order to stay with the process, to trust the process? We are in stage one of this metamorphosis of a year. It's time to be still. It's time to go in. It's time to introspect. And And I don't mean just being still, like not moving. Of course, I'm going to be moving plenty around this time, but it's a stillness of the heart more so. This season reminds us of the beauty of rest, naps, baths, tea with friends, stillness, meditation, quiet walks where you're listening to your own heart, things like that, and renewal. And again, I probably said this too many times this episode, but it's the process of renewal, and it's the beginning of the process of renewal. This season is so powerful. It really contains the power of setting intention as we step forward into a new cycle and a new calendar year. So thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you feel inspired to honor the solstice in your own unique way. I mean, those were just a few ideas. There's so many. I hope to see many of you at the Women's Circle December 20th. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you at tea on Friday the 13th, so today, and also maybe at Self-Defense on the 14th with Storm at 2. Okay, and right before we go, I do want to share the end of this blessing of a quote. Just the very end. It's actually a birthday blessing from John O'Donohue. He's one of my favorites. But I think that the end of this quote will really speak to some of the ideas and concepts we were talking about today. I was talking about today. These are the last several lines. Let this land. May you open the gift of solitude in order to receive your soul. Enter the generosity of silence to hear your hidden heart. Know the serenity of stillness to be enfolded anew by the miracle of your being. That's what I'll leave us with today. Keep shining your light. I'll see you next time.
Thanks again for listening in and joining our yoga community. If it so resonates, please share this episode with a friend. Remember, the inner light of awareness within me honors the inner light of awareness within you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep flowing with grace.